Hey guys, so today we're going to take a look at a living situation. If you follow my channel, I've talked a little bit about possibly wanting to upgrade into a larger living space as far as like a larger van or box van or something. And I'm hanging out with my friend Scott here, who has proven to me that it is definitely doable to live in a small space. Scott, you want to just say hi to everyone?
Hello.
So if you haven't met Scott, he does have a YouTube channel called Static CamperVan. I definitely recommend checking it out. Scott really likes to talk about his situation, which I'll let him tell you about.
So I started doing this because I lived in Southern California and rent was just really expensive. So I just wanted out of paying basically half of what I made just to rent. So I look for the smallest, easiest van to build out, and this is what I came up with.
Okay, so what model are we looking at here?
So this is actually a Ram, they call it. It's made by Fiat. It's a Ram Promaster City.
Okay. And why did you choose this van?
So of the smaller vans, it is the biggest of all the smaller vans, a little bigger than a Ford Transit Connect, which is usually the more popular of all the models. And it does have more horsepower and more towing capacity. So I just thought, just to give myself some options down the road if I wanted to tow a trailer, this van would let me do that.
Okay.
Right.
So you started out in this van basically going from living in a typical living situation, apartment, renting a house, and living into an extremely tiny space. You obviously had to build this van out.
Right. So I bought the van just as a shell of a van. I bought just the cheapest model that they had, and then built everything out myself, just so I could have it exactly like I wanted it.
Cool. Well, let's just take a little peek-see and see what we're looking at here. So it looks like to me kind of a standard layout, just on a very small scale. You've got a bed going lengthwise up against one side, storage space, and then maybe we'll come in from the back side to look. You can obviously see here we've got a stove. We'll maybe go look around the back, check it out. So looking in from the back side, you get a better view of how Scott has this laid out. He's got a little cooking area, nice stainless steel flat tabletop there, a sink even with running water, water filtration system, and storage under the bed. How has this been working out for you, man? It's compact, but gosh, you pretty much have everything.
It is, yeah. It basically gives me everything that I need to do. I just need to sleep, do a little light cooking, and clean up in the van, and so that is all I need, and so that's what it gives me. So
Beautiful.
It's actually been perfect.
Cool. And another little feature here I'm noticing, it looks like you do have an option to shower outdoors, a little outdoor shower.
Right, so I basically just split off of the pump from the sink and just have a little outdoor shower, so I can set this up and shower if I have a space to do it.
Got it.
Right.
Yeah. Very cool. Nice. Now you've got water storage there, or is that gray water?
Right, no, that's fresh water.
Fresh water?
It is small, it's just 5 gallons, but I'm usually always in the city, and so it's plenty for me.
And your sink is draining out below the van, just straight to the ground.
Right, straight to the ground.
Very cool. Love it. Now, how about, I see you have lights on here. I see you have a roof vent fan. How are you powering this stuff? It does look, maybe we'll walk around the other side or take a look from here. I am seeing some electronics. Looks like you've got possibly a solar system here.
I do. I just have one panel. It's a 150 watt panel, and then that does power my lights, my vent, and then I do have a Dometic fridge, 12 volt fridge.
So you do have the 12 volt fridge.
Right.
Cool. And that's under that white cover there?
Right. Most of us keep something on top just for extra installation.
Got it.
But yeah, my power needs are pretty small, so the one panel really works for me. And the other thing that I do is, just to keep things cheap and simple, I only run 12 volt appliances here in the van.
Got it. Very cool. And this is all worked out for you as far as the panels, batteries?
It's actually been fine. I haven't had any issues at all with it. It's been about 1.5 years I've been living in the van, and I just have no issues at all with it.
Very cool. Very cool. And we can see we've got a little bit more overhead storage here with that rack. Little cubby hole storage here with some clothing, accessories and stuff there. Very cool. I'm extremely impressed. It's hard for me to look at this and think that I've been complaining about having too little a space. You have more little storage cubbies here. Beautiful little trash can. It's pretty brilliant, man. I'm very impressed.
Hey, thanks, Brian.
Has there been very many changes since the original build?
Actually, not many. I've had just little issues that I've changed up. My mattress, just trying to find a correct mattress that suits me. But basically, the layout has always been the same.
Very cool. Let me look around here. Yeah, man, the little stainless steel tabletop is nice.
Yeah, that's all restaurant equipment.
Yeah.
So you just go to a restaurant supply store, and it's cheaper than buying stuff at Home Depot. And I think it's sturdier and better quality, personally.
Very cool. Yeah, and you got the little backsplash for your stove there. Makes for easy wipe down and cleanup.
Right, exactly.
Now, what's your take on insulation as far as having the bare metal?
Well, so I've been living in deep Southern California where it's really hot most of the year, and so I found that the insulation kept the van hotter. So I had it for a few weeks and then tore it all out.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've definitely heard that. So, well, I really appreciate you giving us the tour of the van, Scott. One thing that usually most people will ask first thing when they see a setup like this is, although you do have the option of the outdoor shower, do you have any sort of toilet setup? How are you using the bathroom? And, you know, for your situation, you did say you're kind of static, obviously with the name Static CamperVan. You want to just talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So actually that is an issue, but it's actually an easy issue to solve. I do carry a composting toilet that I made myself, and I do like having the shower on the back just so I can be as self-sufficient as possible. But since I'm always in the city, I just have a gym membership, and that takes care of showering and restroom needs.
Well, we've all seen van tours and people living in small spaces, but I was just kind of talking to Scott a little bit about the sustainability of this. Like, you know, I've been doing this for coming up on 4 years now, and it has its challenges. How are you feeling about this in your experience so far? Do you see yourself being able to do this?
Absolutely, yeah. The van is small, but which does cause a little bit of an issue. I'm not really a minimalist. I've had minimalism kind of thrust upon me just because I went with a small van. But as far as living out of this van, I really don't have any issues. I don't spend really a lot of time in the van. I do some cooking in it, I sleep in it, and it gets me to my job. And so for that reason, I don't need a bigger van, and I'm perfectly comfortable living out of this van.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Scott. It's been enlightening to hear a little bit more from a fellow van dweller. And I know that from what I've gathered in our conversations and you being up so far north from your native territory, you're kind of on a new path with this whole thing. And I do wish you the best of that. And if you want to just kind of talk about that a little bit. And of course, if you're really interested in seeing where Scott goes with this lifestyle, you can follow his YouTube channel at Static CamperVan on YouTube.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. Basically, I found myself in a job that I didn't want to be doing in some really kind of harsh weather, and so I just realized that this van gives me so much opportunity. I didn't have to break a lease. I didn't have to try to sell a house. I just gave my 2-week notice with my job, and I left. And so now I'm on just a little trip up the western coast of the U.S., just trying to find a place that kind of feels like it would be a place I want to set down some roots and find a new job. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Awesome. Cool, Scott. We wish you the best. And again, follow along on Scott's adventures at Static CamperVan on YouTube. And the best of luck to you, man. It was great to hang out. I hadn't seen Scott in, since the winter at the RTR gathering in Quartzsite, Arizona. Best of luck to you, man.
Thanks, Brian.
Peace.